Does someone have phone?
Prabhu, Jaya to sing Jaya Radha Madhava.
No, there is another bhajan that I wanted to sing.
Which one is it?
It's called Nache Nache Nitai Gaur Gunamaniya.
Okay. Is it TV or
3 beat.
Let me turn on the TV. Give me a second.
This one. This is a song called Nache Nache Nitai Gaur Gunamaniya by Sri Vrndavana Dasa Thakur. I'll read the translation first and then we can sing the bhajan. Translation: Nitai and Gaura Gunamani are dancing and dancing, with beloved Gadadhara on their left and Srivasa and Advaita on the right, while their associates defeat the stars that surround the Gaura moon. The mridanga and kartalas are played and sweet songs are sung. The sky is filled with the chanting of Harinam. His body is anointed with sandal paste and drops of holy juice, and a forest flower garland dangles nicely across his chest. A white Brahmin thread hangs across his neck. His form defeats millions of cupids, and ankle bells jingle on his feet. The two brothers are dancing, and their associates sing, while Gadadhara's body is pelted with powder. Now the Lord remanifests his previous joyful Vrindavan pastimes in this Nadiya. Now he enjoys on the bank of the Ganga, just like in Vrindavan's Dhira Samira Kunja. Vrindavan Das tells you, for he knows it. So, can you control it? Nache nache nitai gaur gunamaniya. Bame priya gadadhara Srivasa Advaita Bara. Parishada Tara Gana Jiniya. Baje khola kara thala madhura sangeeta bhala. Gagana bhurilo hari dhvaniya. Chandana charchita gai phagu bindu bindu tai. वनमाला दोले भालो बोलिया गले शुभ्र उपाविता रूपकोटि कामाजिता चरणे नुपुरारणरणीया दुई भाई नाची जाय सहचर गाना गाय गदाधर अंगे पोरे धुलिया पुरुभार भासा लीला एवे पहु प्रकाशिला से वृंदावने नदिया बिहारे गंगा तीरे से धीरा समीरे वृंदावन दासा को है जानिया राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottar Shata Shri Srīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottar Shata Shri Srīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिगोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री मायापुर धाम की श्री जगन्नाथपुर धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय संवेद भक्त वृंद की जय ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminiti Namane. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. So today is the appearance day of Srila Vrndavana Dasa Thakur. So I'm going to read a few things about Srila Vrndavana Dasa Thakur before we move on to the Bhagavatam verse for today. So all of what I'll be speaking about Vrndavana Dasa Thakur is from this lecture by His Holiness Bhakti Ashraya Vaishnava Swami Maharaj. You can find that on YouTube. So this is Chaitanya Bhagavat. So Srila Vrndavana Dasa Thakur is the author of Chaitanya Bhagavat. So in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there are a few things which describe him. Sarvashesha Bhrityatana Vrindavana Dasa Avashesha Patra Narayani Garbha Jata. The last of his servants is Vrindavan Das. He took birth from the womb of Narayani, who was the recipient of the Lord's remnants. Commentary by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The author, Srila Vrindavana Dasa Thakur, is not identified as a descent by his parental line. Rather, he became famous for his relationship with his mother, who was a devotee of Gaura. It is well known that his mother, Sri Narayani Devi, accepted the remnants of Sri Chaitanya Dev. Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakur, the son of this Narayani, was the final servant of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So, Vrindavana Dasa Thakur was the final servant, final disciple of Nityananda Prabhu. And Adyapiha Vaishnava Mandale Yara Dhvani Chaitanyera Avashesha Patra Narayani. Even today the Vaishnavas glorify Narayani as the recipient of Lord Chaitanya's remnants. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jana Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Pada Yuge Gana. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus end the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. So these are few things from Chaitanya Bhagavat, where it's described that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is the son of Sri Narayani Devi. and he was the last disciple of Nityananda Prabhu. And his mother Narayani Devi had took the remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also glorifies Vrindavana Dasa Thakur in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is from C.C. Adi. Krishna Leela Bhagavate Kahe Veda Vyasa Chaitanya Leelara Vyasa Vrindavana Dasa. As Vyasadeva has compiled all the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Srīmad Bhāgavatam, Thakur Vrindavana Das has depicted the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Vrindavana Dasa Kaila Chaitanya Mangala Yaha Ras Shravane Nashe Sarva Amangala. Thakur Vrindavana Das has composed Sri Chaitanya Mangala. Hearing this book annihilates all misfortune. Chaitanya Nitaira Yate Jani Yema Hima Yate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhantera Sima. By reading Sri Chaitanya Mangala, one can understand all the glories and truths of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda and come to the ultimate conclusion of devotional service to Lord Krishna. Bhagavate Yata Bhakti Siddhantera Sara Likhi Yachena Iha Jani Kariya Uddhara. In Sri Chaitanya Mangala, later known as Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, Srila Vrindavana Dasa Thakur has given the conclusion and essence of devotional service by quoting the authoritative statements of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Chaitanya Mangala Sune Yadi Pashandiya Vana Seha Maha Vaishnava Haya Tatakshana. If even a great atheist hears Sri Chaitanya Mangala, he immediately becomes a great devotee. Manushya Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Vakta Sri Chaitanya. The subject matter of this book is so sublime that it appears that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally spoken through the writings of Sri Vrndavana Dasa Thakur. Vrindavana Dasa Pade Koti Namaskara Aiche Granta Kari Teho Tarila Samsara. I offer millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vrindavana Dasa Thakur. No one else could write such a wonderful book for the deliverance of all fallen souls. Narayani Chaitanyara Uchishta Bhajana Tara Garbhe Janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavana. Narayani eternally eats the remnants of the food of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Vrindavana Dasa Thakur was born of her womb. Purport. In text 43 of the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, a book written by Kavi Karnapur that describes all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and who they previously were, there is the following statement regarding Narayani. Ambika Yah Swasa Yasi Namna Srila Kilimbika Krishno Chishtam Prabhunjana Seyam Narayani Mata. When Lord Krishna was a child, he was nursed by a woman named Ambika, who had a younger sister named Kilimbika. During the time of Lord Chaitanya's incarnation, the same Kilimbika used to eat the remnants of food left by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Kilimbika was Narayani, who was a niece of Srivas Thakur's. Later on, when she grew up and married, Srila Vrindavana Dasa Thakur was born from her womb. A devotee of Lord Sri Krishna is celebrated in terms of devotional service rendered to the Lord. Thus we know Srila Vrindavana Dasa Thakur as the son of Narayani. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur notes in this connection that there is no reference to his parental ancestry because there is no need to understand it. We read that in Chaitanya Bhagavat. He says that Vrindavana Dasa Thakur is known because of his maternal line, not paternal line. तारा की अद्भुत चैतन्य चरिता वर्णना याहारशा वर्णे शुद्धा कैला त्रिभुवना. What a wonderful description he has given of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Anyone in the three worlds who hears it is purified. Atayeva bhaja loka chaitanya nityananda khandi vesam sara dukha pabe premananda. I fervently appeal to everyone to adopt the method of devotional service given by Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda and thus be freed from the miseries of material existence and ultimately achieve the loving service of the Lord. Vrindavana Dasa Kaila Chaitanya Mangala Tahate Chaitanya Leela Varnila Sakala. Srila Vrindavana Dasa Thakur has written Sri Chaitanya Mangala and therein described in all respects the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Sutra Kari Sabha Leela Karila Granthana Pache Vistariya Tahara Kaila Vivarana. He first summarized all the pastimes of the Lord and later described them vividly in detail. Chaitanya Chandrera Leela Ananta Apara Varnite Varnite Granta Haila Vistara. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are unlimited and unfathomable. Therefore, in describing all those pastimes, the book became voluminous. Vistara dekhiya kichu sankocha haila mana sutra dhrita kona lila na kaila varnana. He saw them to be so extensive that he later felt that some had not been properly described. Nityananda lila varnane haila avesha chaitanyera shesha lila rahila avashesha. He ecstatically described the pastimes of Lord Nityananda, but the later pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remain untold. Seisaba Lilara Shunite Vivarana Vrindavana Vasi Bhaka Tera Utkantita Mana. The devotees of Vrindavan were all very anxious to hear those pastimes. Vrindavane Kalpadrume. So it goes on, but basically Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that while Vrindavan Das Thakur was writing Sri Chaitanya Mangala, at the time when he wrote it, and later the name was changed to Chaitanya Bhagavat, because Chaitanya Bhagavat describes the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just like Srīmad Bhāgavatam describes the pastimes of Krishna. So the Vaishnavas felt that Chaitanya Bhagavat was a more appropriate name for Chaitanya Mangala, and it was since changed. And then Lochan Das Thakur has written another writing called Chaitanya Mangala later on. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that he wrote Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita because Vrindavan Das Thakur felt that the Chaitanya Bhagavat had become voluminous, because while he was writing the pastimes of Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu, he glorified him extensively. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes were described only until extensively until his Grihasthashram. So from Grihasthashram onwards, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu means from sannyas onwards, his pastimes were not very vividly described in Chaitanya Bhagavat. And so Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami composes Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita for the benefit of all the devotees. So these are some comments on Sri Vrndavana Dasa Thakur. And another point I found interesting was that his mother Narayani had taken the remnants of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Uchishta Bhajana means she, by taking the remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she gave birth to a glorious son in Vrindavana Dasa Thakur. And in the lecture that I was listening to by His Holiness Bhakti Ashraya Vaishnava Maharaj, he mentions that even Narada Muni had a similar experience by taking the remnants of the sages that he serves while his mother was serving them as a maidservant. So even in Vrindavan Das Thakur's life, we can see that his mother Narayani Devi, she serves as a maidservant because Vrindavan Das Thakur's father passes away, I think even when he was in the womb of his mother. So his mother serves as a maidservant, but despite his humble background, he becomes a great poet, a great devotee in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these are a few things about Sri Vrndavana Dasa Thakur, and we can move on to the Bhagavatam verse for today. So Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text 38. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha. Please repeat. Yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha. Yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha. Yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha. Yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha. Mataji's. Yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha. Yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha. Yacchakartanga matstotram matkathabhyudayankitam yadva tapasite nishtha sa esha madanugraha. Word for word meanings. Yat, that which. Chakartha, performed. Anga, O Brahma. Matstotram, prayers for me. Matkatha, words regarding my activities. Abhyudaya Ankitam, enumerating my transcendental glories. Yat, or that. Va, either. Tapasi, in penance. Te, your. Nishtha, faith. Saha, that. Eshaha, all these. Mat, my. Anugraha, causeless mercy. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted, praising the glories of my transcendental activities, The penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy. Purport: when a living entity desires to serve the Lord in transcendental loving service, the Lord helps the devotee in so many ways as the Chaitya Guru or the spiritual master within, and thus the devotee can perform many wonderful activities beyond material estimation. By the mercy of the Lord, even a layman can compose prayers of the highest spiritual perfection. Such spiritual perfection is not limited by material qualifications, but is developed by dint of one's sincere endeavor to render transcendental service. Voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection. Material acquisitions of wealth or education are not considered. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru and Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Rugnathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'll read the translation one more time. O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted, praising the glories of my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy. So this chapter is called Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. So we see in the previous chapters that Brahma goes down to the bottom of the stem of the lotus, and he tries to find the cause of his existence, his root of his existence, and he's bewildered. He doesn't understand the darkness that he's surrounded by, why he's sitting on the lotus. And he hears the word tapa, and he performs penances for 100 Brahmas years. So he performs penances for 100 Brahmas years, and as a result, when his meditation was complete, he develops the required knowledge, and he could see in his heart the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what he could not see with greatest endeavor, he could see by performing penances and austerities to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna reveals himself to Brahma within his heart. And we see in this chapter about prayers for creative energy that Brahmaji was afraid of devastating waters. Even though he gets the required knowledge after performing the penances and austerities for 100 years, when it comes to the matter of performing his duty of executing the creation of this universe, he becomes bewildered after seeing the devastating waters. And this bewilderment is similar to what we see about Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, that even though he performed his duty as a Kshatriya for all his life, he gets bewildered in the end when it was time for him to fight against his family members. And he says, Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani Keshava. So he only sees contradictions, that he doesn't see any benefit in performing that battle. And similarly, Brahma is also seeing the devastating waters, and maybe he was thinking that the devastating waters are so scary, it might destroy the creation that he was going to make. And generally, when we think about doing an activity, and if we think that it will go to waste, we won't be motivated much to do that activity. It's natural that if we think something is going to fail, we wouldn't take it up. So maybe Brahma was also thinking that seeing the devastating waters, he didn't see a point in creation, maybe. But Krishna says that he appears to Lord Brahma because after seeing Brahma's bewilderment, he appears to Brahma and he assures Brahma that by situating himself in penance and meditation and following the principles of knowledge, he will receive Krishna's favor. So he encourages Brahma to become situated in penance and meditation and to follow the principles of religion. And by doing that, he will receive the favor of Krishna. And then Brahma, when he sees Krishna, he understands everything. We see that Brahma sees that Krishna is beyond the three modes of material nature. He is not made of the five gross elements or the three subtle elements. And he also sees that the living entities who are going to be created, they will be bewildered by material activities, and they won't have much intention to hear and chant the glories of Krishna. So even at the beginning of creation, Brahma sees all of this, and we can understand that even though the creation was about to begin, it was not the first time that Brahma had done that creation. He has been Brahma before, and he recreates the universe just as it used to be. And so Krishna is assuring him just to do his duty in creating this universe, and Krishna encourages him to be situated in penance and meditation in order to perform his duty. And we heard in the previous classes by Vishnu Chitta Prabhu that Brahma wanted to increase the population of this universe, and he wanted to serve Krishna in that way. And similarly, devotees make new devotees in order to increase the pleasure of Krishna. We bring people who are conditioned closer to Krishna by telling them about Krishna. So, in Easy Journey to Other Planets, Srila Prabhupada describes that Krishna is actually the creator, maintainer, and destroyer. So even the creation is done by Krishna, and Krishna expands himself in various forms, Vibhinnamsha and Swamsha. Swamsha means his own expansions, Vibhinnamsha means his separated expansions. So Krishna himself expands into his Vibhinnamsha, the conditioned living entities, in order to expand his bliss, in order to expand his spiritual bliss. And we see that Brahma here is used as an instrument in Krishna's mission to increase the spiritual bliss. So Krishna is the actual creator, but Brahma here is used as an instrument. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that he is Prabhavah Pralayasthanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyam, that he is the creation, destruction, the basis, the resting place, and the inexhaustible seed. So the seed that was planted at the beginning of creation, it is going on, and it will go on until annihilation within the context of the material universe. So Krishna is the inexhaustible seed, and what is inexhaustible? It's hard for us to imagine something inexhaustible in this material world, but we can have an example in sun, that sun has been giving this light and heat for millions of years, but it hasn't exhausted. So it will continue to give light and heat for millions of years, and it seems inexhaustible, but we understand that it is also a material creation and it will have an end. But it's the closest thing that we can think of in the material world, which is inexhaustible. And similarly, in the Easy Journey to Other Planets, Prabhupada writes that material scientists, they have worked very hard to create their own satellites. So the satellite is just a small thing that is that is placed in the space using some mechanical means, but it doesn't come anywhere near the creation of Krishna. For example, if we think about the sun, nobody really understands what sun is. If we think that it's just a glowing ball of fire, then we would ask a question that when would this ball of fire melt? Because anything that we can take in the material world, and if we set it on fire, it's likely that it will melt after a certain point of time, unless the fire is exhausted. But sun is not such a thing. Even though it's been burning for millions of years, nothing is melted. So what really is sun? Like in the context of earth, it's hard for us to understand what sun really is. So with our intelligence, there is hardly anything we can understand about Krishna or Krishna's creation, but we can understand from Bhagavatam and from the example of Brahma and Arjuna that we can understand Krishna when he shows us his causeless mercy. So even in this verse, Krishna tells Brahma that all the austerities, the understanding that Brahma has of Krishna, and everything should be considered as Krishna's causeless mercy. So all the understanding that devotees have in general of Krishna should be considered Krishna's mercy. And in a similar way, Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, Yat karoshi yad ashnasi yad juhoshi dadasiyat yat tapashyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So whatever we do for Krishna. We do it, whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever we offer, whatever we give away in charity, all the austerities we perform, we have to do it for Krishna. And all the results that we get because of them, we need to consider them as causeless mercy of Krishna. So in that sense, it's the relationship between Krishna is not transactional. We are doing everything for Krishna's sake, and all the results we are getting, we need to consider as causeless mercy of Krishna. So it's not that we are doing a certain activity and the result we are getting is because of the activity that we performed. So it's not a causal relationship in the sense that the activity that we perform is giving us the result that we are getting. So that is material if we think that the activity we do will give us the result we expect. But if we think that all the activities we are doing is for Krishna and all the results we are getting are due to the causeless mercy of Krishna, then that becomes a spiritual activity. And as a result, we get closer to Krishna. We understand Krishna a little bit more and we get closer to Krishna. The purport says that the Lord helps the living entity desiring to serve him as Chaitya Guru. So, Krishna is situated in everyone's heart as Chaitya Guru, and for devotees in Krishna consciousness, we can experience Chaitya Guru by his sending us to a spiritual master. So it's because of the mercy of Chaitya Guru that we approach a bona fide spiritual master. When a conditioned soul is endeavoring to understand Krishna, Krishna helps him as Chaitya Guru, and he sends him to a bona fide spiritual master so that he can make further progress in devotional service. So we should understand Chaitya Guru as Krishna trying to bring the conditioned soul closer to him, and we shouldn't see Chaitya Guru as Krishna being in our heart to fulfill our desires. So Chaitya Guru is not a wish fulfiller who is sitting in someone's heart in order to fulfill their wishes. He is trying to bring the conditioned soul closer to him. So, while doing that, the conditioned soul's wishes may not be fulfilled, they may be fulfilled. Whatever Chaitya Guru wants, whatever Chaitya Guru thinks is required for the conditioned soul, for him to be closer to him, he will grant him that mercy. So, it's important to understand that Chaitya Guru is not a wish fulfiller, and he is only there in order to give us his mercy, in order for us to come closer to him. And the purport also says that by the mercy of the Lord, even a layman can compose prayers of the highest spiritual perfection. So, even from today's reading, we can see that Vrndavana Dasa Thakur had humble background. He was the son of a maidservant, Narayani Devi. She raised him by being a maidservant, but he composed Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, which is not different from Srīmad Bhāgavatam. So even a layman can compose prayers of the highest spiritual perfection. We see that in Dhruva Stuti, Dhruva Maharaj glorifies Vishnu as a 5-year-old boy, and Gajendra, an elephant, glorifies Vishnu in Gajendra Moksha Stotra. And we see in some of the devotees here have watched Vedanta Desikan, the movie, and we see that he composes Sri Ranganatha Paduka Sahasram. Sri Ranganatha Paduka Sahasram, 1,000 verses glorifying the sandals of Sri Ranganath in one night. It is said that he composed the Sahasram in one night. So, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami composes Chaitanya Charitamrita in his old age, when he was weak, when he couldn't see properly, when he couldn't write properly. He composes the glorious Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And our Prabhupada himself, he commenced on his journey to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world when he was 69 years old. And he gave commentaries on all the important Vedic literatures. So, Prabhupada writes in this that a layman, meaning there are no material limitations to serve Krishna. Whatever sincere endeavor one shows in order to render transcendental service, in that effect they can glorify the Lord. So if someone has the sincere desire to render transcendental service to the Lord, they can glorify the Lord in that proportion, that they can write glorious prayers glorifying Krishna in that way. I think there is a hard cutoff at 8:30, so no? I'm also out of what I have to speak, so. Either is fine. I'll end the class here. If there are comments or questions, we can continue.
Brahma, how could he have meditated for 100 Brahma years? Because did you read that?
Yeah, it's there in the previous verse.
100 years of Brahma.
Yeah, can you pull up 3:822?
Because in Bhagavad Gita 10:6, Prabhupada says Brahma meditated for 1,000 years of the demigods.
In 3:822.
Brahma lives for 100 years of his own.
Yeah. It initially confused me also. Brahma only lives for 100 years, but 3:822 says at the end of Brahma's 100 years, when his meditation was complete, he developed the required knowledge.
But go to the purport. Divya years which are distinct from solar years of human beings. Divya years are calculated in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahma's one day is equal to 1,000 times. On that basis, Brahma meditated 100 years before he could understand. Interesting. Prabhupada says in 10.6. 10.6?
Yeah.
That Brahma meditated for 1,000 years with the demigods.
I thought,
Maybe there's both, because there's two different types of creations. So, in this particular case, wouldn't it mean that Brahma now lives for 200 years? Because he meditated for 100 of his own years and then lives for another 100 years.
Brahma's creation exists for 100 years. I thought about it, and it seemed like there is one place where I remember reading that at the end of dissolution, Brahma goes back to the spiritual world.
Yeah, that's there. I mean,
So
it's yeah.
I mean, he lives for 100 years in the context of his creation, is what I thought. Like, he meditates for 100 years, and in the context of his creation, he lives for 100 years. Brahmaloka has a span of 100 years. Even if one elevates himself to Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, they can live up to 100 Brahma years and then...
Yeah, I mean, there's also stated that Brahma's lifespan.
Yeah.
Prabhupada uses that word, lifespan.
Yeah, I was also confused about it. I read about it a little bit, but I couldn't find much.
Okay, interesting. And also this point, nice point that you made about the Paramatma not being the wish fulfiller. In that sense, since one of the activities of the Paramatma is Anumanta, that he sanctions based on one's karma, but because the Paramatma is not fulfilling wishes for necessarily, he doesn't fulfill wishes literally, but he gives on the basis of karma. But devotees don't have karma. I mean, once you chant Hare Krishna, the karma is gone. But then, since the role of the Paramatma is to bring the devotee closer to Krishna, now the Paramatma's sanctioning of what's allowed and what's not allowed is on the basis of what's beneficial to one's Krishna consciousness. The ultimate benefit that ultimately Krishna wants to bring the devotee back to him. So, nice point.
Yeah.
I had a couple comments and a question. I was just reading this morning in Science of Self-Realization. You were talking about, how we can somewhat understand about Krishna through observing his creation and everything like that. And Prabhupada was making the point in this conversation with Dr. Singh that in order to understand Krishna, we first have to understand the jiva soul, because the jiva soul is like a small part and parcel of the overall Supreme Lord. So if we understand like the nature and the qualities of the jiva, we're actually able to more easily understand the Supreme Lord. So I thought that was a relevant point of topic for this also. And then we were hearing from His Holiness Dhanavir Goswami Maharaj that on this point about the scientists not being able to understand Krishna, this one devotee in the audience, he asked a question, and it was a pretty long-winded question, but the ultimate point was, how can the scientists understand Krishna? And Maharaj's response was, you can speculate and you can come to so many experiments, but ultimately, in order to understand Krishna, one has to become a devotee of Krishna. And I thought that was a really profound point also, because just by their scientific understanding, unless they actually surrender to Krishna and take shelter of Krishna, there's no possible way that they'll be able to understand him. And then my one question that I had was, I was just listening to a class this morning by His Holiness Bhakti Vikash Maharaj, where he was referring to his own appearance, and he said that the activities are more important than the appearance itself, and he quoted from Srila Prabhupada saying that this ISKCON temple that they built in Mayapur, even though it's not at any significant place, it's more important even than the actual birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, because the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are going on here. I was wondering if you could maybe speak a little bit about the activities of Sri Vrndavana Dasa Thakur, and if we know anything really so much about his activities, because you touched on his appearance and the nature of his birth. I was wondering if you have anything to speak on a little bit of his activities, or if somebody has something they could say.
All I learned was, Prabhu, that he never met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he served Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and he worshipped Sri Gauranitai, and all his bhajans are in glorification of Gauranitai, many beautiful bhajans, and he wrote, I heard in the lecture that I heard that when he was living with his maternal grandparents, his mother takes him to his, or rather, I think Srivas Thakur's wife takes him to his maternal grandparents, and there was a lot of obstacles in him writing Chaitanya Bhagavat or him worshipping Gauranitai, because people were still doing Karmakandiya Vedic rituals. And so he moves to Burdwan or someplace, and he writes Chaitanya Bhagavat there. He only had 3 disciples in total, so he wasn't so much into preaching, but he did a lot of bhajan. So so I think that's pretty much what I've gotten about him, his activities. Yeah. Any other question, Mataji? Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Sri Vrndavana Dasa Thakur ki jai. Manchakal Padurubhishya Kripasindu Bhyo Vicha Patitanam Bhavane Bhyo Vaishnava Bhyo Namo Namaha.